Anna now to talk about implementation.
Okay.
Nicole.
So just a quick question, are we talking specifically about community choice energy at some point? I can't remember, but I mean, do people understand what community choice energy is? Okay, so we are doing more details on that? Am I doing that? I mean, of course I'm doing that. I am doing that myself? Just do it now. Well, so community choice energy, just to be super quick about it, quick high-level overview, is a mechanism created by the state after the energy crisis that allows local governments to take control of energy supply. So it sort of bifurcates the role. Right now, okay, let's say you're anywhere in San Diego County, you move into a new house, you're moving to a new apartment, who do you call to turn on your lights? You don't have an option, right? You have monopoly control. This is a mechanism that would allow the city to control the type of energy that's powering your house, whether it's green or dirty, where the utility, SDG&E, would still deliver the power, right? So someone was saying SDG&E loses. They don't actually lose. This is why. They make all of their money through delivering power, through the infrastructure, through building the power and distribution lines and transmission lines. They have a guaranteed rate of return of profit, huge, like unheard of guaranteed rate of return, like 11%. Like can't beat it anywhere on Wall Street. Because of that guaranteed rate of return, they make a ton of money. So this is a model the state created, so the utilities aren't totally losing out, and yet the cities can have local control and offer choice to their residents about what kind of energy is powering their homes and businesses. It's kind of this elegant, perfect solution, right? So we're not totally, I don't want to say what I really think about SG, but so we're not putting them out of business, so they would still be alive, they would still make sure that we are getting reliable service. We're, anytime you turn on your lights, it's like the most seamless, radical event that could ever take place, which is that you turn on your light switch and you don't even know the difference. And yet you would know that your power coming into your home or business is clean energy, right? So it's a pretty amazing program. And I'm sure we will have a separate workshop about that, because it is also, though, not an easy lift. As much as I can stand up here and say SDG doesn't lose, they don't like to give up any control, right? It's an issue of control, bottom line. So anyhow, community choice energy, though, is officially in the City of San Diego's climate plan. We are engaged in a feasibility study. So we're hoping that this can help kickstart other cities to explore the option of choice and local control in their energy supply as well. It's an incredibly, really awesome opportunity for us to provide clean energy to all our residents. And that's why City of San Diego has a 100% clean energy goal. And my organization, Climate Action Plan, and I know other sponsored organizations would like to see the entire region be powered by 100% clean energy. I don't know if you guys heard, but Hawaii is the first state in the country that just announced they're going to 100%. So if Hawaii can do it, I was just in Hawaii, you cannot turn your head without seeing solar panels. It's mind-blowing. Every building, every house, literally, it's like, whoa, what planet am I on? But that's, why shouldn't we be able, right? Why shouldn't we, in California especially, not be able to turn our heads without seeing solar, right? And that's because we have a corporate monopoly utility who's had a stranglehold on our energy supply. So this is a solution. So anyhow, okay, so that's, I can talk for hours on community choice energy. So climate plan implementation. So it was great, right? We got the climate plan, a draft climate plan put out in the City of San Diego. We had a new mayor come in, a Republican mayor come in the city, which made Todd Gloria and I sweat bullets, because we were pretty sure the first thing he was going to do was kill our climate plan because of all his friends at SDG&E and the business community. But for some, miraculous reason, really just a political calculation on his part, is that the community wanted this climate plan. And so again, also just to emphasize how much you matter. I could not tell you enough. Again, I spent 7 years, as I called it, my tours of duty inside City Hall. Worked closely with all, 3 different elected officials, including a mayor, so I know exactly how decision making happens. And they know very well what the community thinks about high profile issues. They don't have to go and do polls. That's not really how it works here at a local level. It's what they hear when they're going to community meetings, when they're going to events, when they have community coffees. People pay attention. You don't have to know details. You don't have to go to them and say specifically, here's how they should, solve this enormous challenge. It's the fact that you say to them, it'd really be important to me if you address climate change. If you put forward a climate plan with 100% clean energy. That's all you have to say. And that gets in their head. And so they know that. They count numbers in their head. You know what I mean? It's not an official count. I'm just saying they have a feeling. They know, they hear from people. And so they get a sense that, gee, I'm hearing a lot from my community about climate change. And so this is something they want me to do. And I just don't want you to underestimate the role of making change with elected officials. So someone keeps raising their hand, but I'm not taking questions quite yet. Is that okay? We'll get there. We have lots of time. So, but I saying that here we put up climate plan. We had a Republican mayor, right, support this climate plan. So we have bipartisan support for 100% clean energy. That has not happened anywhere else. From a city perspective, now Hawaii, who totally just stole our thunder. But to have that, you know, one of the 10 largest cities in the country to have bipartisan support for 100% clean energy is a pretty big deal. But now, and this is why I started my own organization, I'm on the outside, is that we have to make sure it actually happens. And I can also not emphasize enough how critical it is. I mean, I know it's a pain. It's like you do all this hard work, you know, go in the trenches and sweat and blood and tears to get a great climate plan, but it's just not over yet. You have to make sure the city actually does it. And like Dan just pointed out a perfect example in Vista, they have this goal of this huge, these really ambitious transit goals or public transportation goals, and then they have a bike plan and they just put out the budget and there's no money to implement it. What? That, I mean, that's where watchdogging comes in. And that's, in my opinion, the leverage I use at the city is that because it's legally required, you threaten, you use that law and that legal requirement as something you hold over their head. Also the city, I will give an example, we had faced the same conundrum. The mayor put out a budget for 2015-2016. The climate plan is draft form, by the way, so this was his way of thinking. It's only a draft, we haven't adopted it, so I don't really have to put money into the climate plan yet. Oh, little did he know we were gonna, you know, make a lot of noise. So we held a press conference. We got all the cameras and the UT to write articles about how his budget doesn't have any money for bikes, for public transportation, even though the climate plan says he has to do it. So the little detail, the fact that the climate plan was just a draft didn't matter because we created enough noise and we made him so uncomfortable. He came back with a new proposal when the real budget came out, because we did our precedent a week before the budget, so we wanted to give him a week's time to change things, to do the right thing. And he came out the next week, and he now has a senior manager specifically to figure out how to implement the Bike Climate Action Plan, put 12 new staff in the transportation department to figure out how to implement the bike plan. That's right. It's still not enough, by the way. But the point is that it's just as critical. I mean, it's annoying, but that you invest the resources or figure out what the group is going to be or who the person is going to lead to kind of watchdog the process after it gets implemented. So that's the third point here. Just about you need kind of the outside watchdog, which all of you would be. I also am a real believer in the value of official environmental commissions in different cities. I know someone just telling me there's an official sustainable commission at La Mesa, for example, that's a pathway to kind of work with your elected officials. I know we're working with the Encinitas, what do you call it, Jim? Your Encinitas Environmental Commission. Yeah, but we're going to use that officially recognized environmental body at the city to sort of push them to do more on climate planning. So I'm a big believer in both the outside community watchdogging and pressure as well as the official commissions, because I think these, again, have been on the inside for many years. People underestimate their own value on those commissions. And these commissions oftentimes just sit and they don't understand their own power. But when you're a recognized body of the city, I mean, you can go straight to the city council meeting and start making noise. I mean, you have a lot of leverage. And I think that a lot of folks in these commissions are volunteers and they're not, as they don't have kind of the experience that I have to know how much power those commissions can use. So I just put that out there. I know Diane was also getting to how critical it is for cities to actually identify in their strategy. So not only do you need a target, but for each strategy that they identify to hit that target, when it's a legally binding plan, they have to do what's called a technical appendix. And this is the bane of their existence. Because in that technical appendix, to comply with CEQA, right? Are you with me? To comply with CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, they have to provide substantial evidence. So I mean they have to provide technical data that shows exactly how that strategy will get to X amount of greenhouse gas reductions. And that's how you win. Because that means the city understands exactly what they need to do to get to the reductions that they need. So each strategy has to have its own analysis. So in the city's climate plan, we have about 50 strategies to hit our 50% reduction goal by 2035. Each of those 50 strategies has its own technical analysis in this really large technical appendices. But again, it lets the city know, I mean, the city has nowhere to go. It's like, well, we tried to do it, really? Because in the appendix when we wrote the plan, this is what the technical advisor said you had to do. You didn't do that. And it also enables you as the public to watchdog it because they give kind of periodical where you should be at different steps in the process. So it's just another benefit to basing your climate plan on your general plan because you can force the city to do this technical appendix. And then of course in the city we also push for an implementation plan. So in addition to the technical appendix, you want an implementation plan that tells city staff and the mayor, so because it doesn't matter if I'm not around, if the new mayor's not there, if we've got a whole new set of people, right? Someone just fresh, brand new, just moved to the city of San Diego and suddenly they're the queen of climate planning and they don't know what's going on. Well, in our climate plan it says by 2016, these are the 5 things you will have done. And these are the departments who will do it, right? So you outline every year what the city's supposed to do. We don't have monetary we don't say this how much money the budget is to allocate. That's probably a missing piece. But at the very least, it lets each department know, because that's another thing you'll find, maybe not in the smaller cities, but in the big large city of San Diego, the departments like to say, oh, that's not my problem, that's that department, or you get that whole phone chain thing. It's a favorite strategy of city staff. But so in the climate plan, it specifically says, no, this is this department's responsibility, so they can't pass the buck. And it says, and they have to do this by X date. They have to propose an ordinance by 2016 or by 2017. And we've made it so that every 2 years the city has to come forward with an update. So where are you at? How you doing? Tell me exactly, specifically, what greenhouse gas reductions you've made. And hire Epic to do that greenhouse gas evaluation, to do the inventory and let me know that there actually have been reductions. I mean, this is not for the faint of heart. It's hard, but it's about the future, right? I mean, that's what it's about the kids, because, when you hear script scientists, because I work with script scientists a lot, I happen to be personal friends with them, they're terrified of the future. I don't want to be too doomsday scenario. But I feel it's incumbent, it's our responsibility to do what we can. So those are the 3 things that I would just say are really important that, after you get your magical 100% clean energy climate plan, we just have to make sure we create the mechanism and the infrastructure so we're watchdogging that process.